You're muted, Jason.
Just how'd the guys bounce back, or mentality-wise? What have you seen from them since that game on Saturday?
Yeah, so Jason, we practice here in 26 minutes and 15 seconds, so that'll be the first time that we've gotten together back out on the floor. A disappointed locker room, a frustrated locker room after the game. We didn't shoot the ball well. We didn't defend as well. It was the first time that we didn't share the ball with one another as well as we had in the past. We played a little bit selfish, and those are our players' words, not even my words. Those were some of the things that our guys had talked about. So we've got some areas to clean up for sure. So I guess, Jason, that's kind of, up to this point, once I get down with practice, we'll, probably have a little bit better feel.
Nate?
Eric, kind of where do you go from here is who you start in place of Justin Smith, and just kind of you're looking at your rotations. What do you think they're going to be?
Yeah, Nate, I think that we're still tinkering, on what we'll do with the starting lineup. The lineup that we had the other night, didn't get off to a great start. We've gotten off to great starts for most of the year where we jumped out to leads or had that was not the case. Who starts? I'm not really sure. We've been meeting as a staff this morning. Probably won't know until right before tip off who is going to start. We'll probably tinker with some different lineups today. Because we just don't have a lot of those. We don't have a lot of 6'6" guys that play kind of the 2-3-4. We have a group of bigs, and then we have a group of guards. And Justin and Moses are the kind of two guys that kind of slide back and forth between, but we'll still try to figure out who that'll be. And, we just need somebody to step up and fill a void.
Bob?
Eric, I don't know if you've seen the net rankings yet, but they came out. The first ones came out today. You guys are 24, Tennessee's 3, Mizzou's 10. I think Florida and LSU are like 22 and 23, just ahead of you guys. What are your thoughts on being 24 in that first net ranking?
Bob, you see my note?
Okay, wow, that's good. So what do you think about that?
I don't know. Coach Ruda handed it to me. Here's what I'm going to do with it.
That's going to hurt his feelings. Well, seriously, I know it's a tough loss, but it must be nice to be what's it feel like to be in the top 25 in the first net, and then now you got to go to the number 3.
Yeah, the good thing when you play really good teams, your net goes up regardless of the outcome of the game. That's what makes it really unique. But yeah, we're again, we've played, we played 10 games. We had, a game that we were within striking distance. I thought we were within striking distance the whole game. We just couldn't get over that hump. And look, Missouri's, like you said, their net's awesome. They've beaten some really good teams, and they're ranked in the top 15. So we knew once Missouri got ranked and they had played so well early in the season, and Tennessee, we knew that this is a really tough stretch because you got the game at Tennessee, you come home and you play Georgia, and then you got 2 road games against, and I don't know the order, but you have Alabama and you have LSU. So this stretch we knew was going to be really difficult, and we kind of threw in that Auburn game to start. When the schedule came out, we were like, that's not an easy way to start. so we just got to come out and try to play it a lot better than we did the other night.
Yeah, LSU's 23 and Alabama's 36. I can't believe Root didn't write that down too. But and Tennessee, I mean, I don't think anybody expected them to lose at home to Alabama, but I guess it just shows the parity in the SEC. Watching that, I assume you've watched that game. Scott, what are your thoughts on that game, and what are your thoughts on Tennessee overall?
I mean, Coach Barnes is he's an incredible coach. He always has great defensive teams. They have a lot of talent. They have a lot of returners. I thought, last year Vescovi was really, really good coming in as a mid-year freshman. And he's just done nothing but get better and better. And Fulkerson's a really difficult matchup, number 10 at the center spot or the power forward spot because of his ability to draw free throws. And he's got a spin game when he puts it on the bounce. And 35 Pons is arguably one of the best defenders in the nation, one of the best shot blockers, can make a three, elevates over people. James, a really, really, really good player as well. And then they bring guys off the bench that are really good. 45 Johnson's a good player and plays hard. And Springer, number 11, really good. And Victor Bailey, they're off guard, can really, really stroke the ball. He's an Oregon transfer. So they're a really talented team. I mean, that's, you look at their ranking and who they've beaten and it's for sure the best team that we've played this year.
And then Connor, we know he's a good shooter, but he's had a couple rough shooting games. Do you sit him down and talk to him about that? Do you just kind of let him play through it? Or how do you handle that?
Yeah, Bob, to be honest, I've always wanted our teams to play with great freedom offensively, and then they pay it back by really putting forth great effort on the glass and defensively. But I've sent a lot of text messages, a lot of phone calls, some individual meetings with guys face to face. Like, our shot selection has got to improve, and us sharing the basketball has got to improve. And it's not one guy. Last year I thought, you could argue we had some questionable shots with Isaiah and Mason, but those guys shot the ball at a really high clip. And we need, if guys are going to take, difficult shots, you've got to shoot them at a high percentage. And so it's the first time in 5 years that I've really dug deep into shot selection with players. And again, it's multiple players. It's not just Connor, it's a lot of guys that have to improve shot selection and improve in sharing the basketball.
Curtis?
Hey, Coach, I guess you kind of just answered some of this, but you talked about Tennessee defensively. So what are some of the keys to getting yourselves going against them? And looks like Alabama had some success going with a little bit of a smaller lineup and attacking some switches and mismatches. Does that give you a little bit more confidence with the 4-guard lineup you guys have been playing quite a bit?
Yeah, great question, Curtis. I think that, I was not happy with our 4-guard lineup at all. I mean, we didn't rebound. We gave up way too much inside. And, when Tillman has a career night, it's not just on the centers. It's on people taking away the role and getting into last year we played a lot of small ball, but we had a mismatch at the other end. We didn't create any mismatches by playing small the other night. And every team's different. Alabama's got different personnel than us when they went small, just like our team last year had different personnel when we went small, and Mason was just able to bust and beat any 4-man off the bounce at will. And we knew that going in. Our small ball lineup's not the same. I actually think that, and I've always favored smaller lineups. We got to play a little bit bigger. Unfortunately, because again, I've always liked to, have the ability to break people down. And then with their defense, I mean, I read a great article, about how they've studied, Bob Kloppenberg and his SOS defense. And interesting enough, Coach Kloppenberg had, been my father's assistant with the Cavaliers, and I actually went to camp with Bob Kloppenberg when I was in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I went to his camp, and I know all about his defense, and it's hard to score on. It's all about disruption. It's about the offense having to react to the defense instead of the defense being the reactor. And again, I mean, I've read the book SOS. I've gone to the guys' camps. He worked for my dad. And I think that that's, again, according to an article that I read this morning, it was a really great article. You know, one of their assistant coaches has really dove into that defensive philosophy and has kind of implemented it. And he's their defensive coordinator. And that's a great defense. It's a defense that's really hard to score on. So, if you think you're just going to come down and score on the first side against that type of defense, it's not going to happen. The ball's got to move to the second side, to the third side, and you got to share the basketball.
Hutch.
Yeah, Coach, I guess y'all were 3 of 23 on layups the other night. After watching film, I mean, is there anything you put your finger on that contributed to that? Is there anything y'all could do in practice to improve that moving forward?
I mean, I think that, to answer, is there anything we can do to improve? Certainly, I think that's why you have a coaching staff. And, I'm sure Hunter doesn't want me just to tell him that we're not going to improve when we're 3 for whatever from the layups. I mean, I have to, lay out a blueprint. I mean, I've talked to, everybody on staff on knock off the Euro steps, knock off the spin, like shoot a 2-foot jump stop and put the ball in the hole. Go old school on your finishes around the rim. So yes, I have addressed technique. Yes, I have addressed knock off the degree of difficulty layups. There's been a problem with this team all year, is our shots around the rim. It's not just one game. It got magnified in one game. But when you get an offensive rebound and there's 3 guys with their arms up, you don't try to shoot through 6 arms. You pass the ball out and you spray it around for a quick 3. And so, yes, Hutch, we got to work on that stuff today, tomorrow, shoot around. Because Missouri only had 1 block shot. That's 1 more than I had in the game. So I'm not sure why you missed layups if they had 1 block shot. Now you're going against a team in Tennessee that does block shots. So if you go in there, against Pons and Fulkerson, if I was going to pick a game, I thought we'd miss layups, it'd be Tennessee. So we've got to quickly figure out how to score around the rim when you're in the painted area.
Scotty.
Hey, Coach, what do you think led to some of that selfishness creeping in a little bit on Saturday? Was it guys just trying to do too much or what?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a great question. You know what I mean? I mean, I think that in basketball, Scotty, if you and I went and played pickup ball, you might not like my shot selection, and it just kind of happens. I mean, if you go play with a lunch group guy, like sometimes quick shots happen, or somebody's trying to get hot, or I don't know what, you know what I mean? I mean, I've been around a lot of games, and I don't want to use the word selfish. I want to use the word ill-advised shots. I guess is probably because I think we have a group of really high character student athletes that want to win. And that's why we won our first, 9 games, and we didn't have any hiccups in games that there's a lot of teams across the country that play non-conference games and they got hiccups all the time, and they do it year after year. And our guys handled their business, and we played really bad against a really good team. And we lost. And so that's what happens. And, so when you play against better teams, you got to really make extra passes. I think the big thing is you got to respect your opponent. If you're guarding me, Scotty, and you're in my airspace, I got to move the ball. Like, I have to respect your defensive ability. And so I think those are some of the things that, I don't know if you can defend or not, Scotty, but I'm just using that as an example. I'm sure I could blow by you, attack your right, left hip, just finish at the rim. But hey, we just got to move the basketball.
Bob, couple follow-ups. Got to get to practice here soon.
Hey, Eric, I'm sorry if I butcher your guy's name, but Kloppenheimer or Kloppenmeyer, whatever his name is. The fact that you know his defense so intricately, do you feel like that gives you guys, is that a plus going into this game since that's what Tennessee's doing?
No, because I think that Coach Barnes is, he's one of the best coaches in the history of college basketball, and he's got great athletes that are really long. So you might know what they're hoping to do. And again, they have a variation of the SOS defense. They're not running it exactly like it is, but I do have familiarity with it, but I don't think that has, I'm sure that Nate Oates studied it as well. I've just been around it, from a really young age and know how they close out and how they'll help from the strong side corner a little bit. And actually Coach Kloppenberg's son is a friend of mine, and he coached Seattle to the WNBA championship and actually came to one of our games last year here at home and was going to come to our Tulsa game this year before it was canceled. And Coach Kloppenberg's daughter's at San Jose State running their defense for the women's team. So, but I don't think it has any bearing at all. I think that Tennessee's done a great job studying a really, really difficult defense to score on, and they've committed to playing a similar style.
And I know Missouri was ahead pretty big, but, Jalen Williams came in and had some good minutes at the end. Wonder what you thought about that, and maybe Ethan. Do you look to maybe get those guys more involved?
Yeah, I think that Jalen did a really nice job for us, and he's done a really good job in practice. Ethan, I feel like he's played his minutes anytime that he's got. But there's only so many minutes that you can go around. You know what I mean? But Jalen did a great job the other night. I would like to see him get more involved because I think he continues to progress and get better. And then it just comes down to combinations. Like, the one thing that as a coach, do you have enough shooting on the floor? Do you have enough people that can create off the bounce on the floor? Getting back to Alabama did a great job of driving and kicking. Well, in order to drive and kick, you got to go buy one defender to draw an extra defender. And so that comes into play with your personnel on who's on the floor. Right now, we don't have quite enough guys that are beating their initial defender to create a scoring opportunity for a teammate.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Bob.
Oh, just what the NCAA, no surprise, really. They announced the NCAA tournament's all going to be held in Indiana, mostly around Indianapolis. I think maybe Bloomington too. Just, you have any thoughts on that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Jason, final question.
Hey, Coach, with Vance, is it a philosophy change for him, or is it a buy-in thing to maybe get him some more minutes, or is it just kind of where is he right now with what you're wanting from him and not getting the minutes that maybe you thought he might get earlier in the year?
Yeah, I think it's definitely not buy-in. I came into the office yesterday. He's in here shooting. He was first one in this morning shooting. He's working. His shot hasn't been falling, and a lot of that can be not getting enough reps, meaning in game. If a guy goes in and he goes 0 for 1, that's not a fair way to assess either. But we do need Vance to rebound the ball, defend for us, get loose balls, get rebounds, because that's an area. But certainly from a three-point shooting, if he misses 1, if he misses 8, I still feel like he's one of the great shooter. But again, if you just take this phone call and add up how many guys I've been asked about minutes, there's only there's only so many to go around. That's just how it is. When you got 12 or 9 or 11 eligible players to play, there's always going to be who can get more minutes. That's just part of the discussion that's going to always happen. You're on mute, Mike.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time.